Hello, my name is Christine Lemiso, and welcome back to our episode of Excellently in Go as we reflect on the 10-year journey of Murwa Girls Child Education Program. In this series, I'm joined today with one of the board members that have been part of the founders of Murwa Girls Child Education Program, and I would love him to introduce himself and tell us how the journey has been and what Murwa actually means to him.
Well, thank you so much, Christine Lemiso. Beautiful name you have there. I wish I can borrow a Maasai name. So by the time we're done, please make sure you get me a Maasai name.
Absolutely.
Well, viewers, as you heard, I am a guest today, and I happen to be in the board of Murwa Girl Child Education Program. My name is Victor Muni, and I am a reverend. I was about to say by profession, then I discovered that that's not a profession, it's a calling. So I am a reverend, I preach. I am also an author. I write books. Currently I've done 3 books, finishing on my 4th book. And apart from that, I'm also a mentor. I'm all things human development. I'm all things human empowerment, and I'm glad to be here with my host Christine, and as we celebrate the 10 years of Murwa, and it's been an interesting journey. When you look at 10 is not a small. It's not a small figure. It's not a small number. If you take a child who is 10 years old, that's not a child that you can send to the shop. That's a child that you can entrust with some responsibilities. And so for us to be celebrating 10 years, it means we have come a long way. Murwa for me is special in more than one way. One, because the founder, Agnes, is my mentee. I've worked with her for many years, even before Murwa began. So there's that bit. And secondly, the reason why Murwa for me is personal is because Murwa was born out of the first book I wrote, which is titled Your Life, Your Thinking. So I remember after I did the book and I did the launch, Agi was one of the first people who bought the book and she read, and at some point it really struck a chord in her and in her mind. And so I remember one day she called me for lunch, and she was like, I want to buy you lunch. And who says no when a mentee wants to buy lunch? So we went and we sat down, and she gave me feedback about the book. And now she was like, I feel I am stirred enough to start a journey. And for me, I was like, what's holding you back? Let's start this journey. And I remember we were trying to come up with names and all these things. So I just told her, you go think, but you have my support. And whatever you decide, I am with you. I am in your corner. And lo and behold, many days later, I get a call, and she's like, I decided to go ahead with the process of starting Murwa, and she explained the vision. And I was like, okay, that's good enough. And then she was like, the big question. She's like, I would be honored if you are part of the board. And for me, I felt it's a privilege to be requested to be in such a platform. And I said yes. And here we are 10 years later as a board member of Murwa. And I'm just there. I'm the one who, I think we've been with you in a few meetings. And me, I'm the one who causes chaos and havoc. My work is normally to think. Everyone else has. If I was to be given a title for what I do in Murwa, I would say I'm the thinker that pokes holes in whatever we are doing so that we can see the viability of the ideas, the viability of projects. And I love it that when you have an idea, I will come and just turn it upside down and try and see, okay, what are we missing? What else can we add to make sure that at least we are able to have meaningful and lasting impact in the program that we have? Yeah, so I think in a nutshell, that's what I would say about myself and my connection and interaction with Murwa. And I can say I am proud and I am glad of the decision I made to be part and parcel of the board of Murwa. Yep.
What would you say motivates you to dedicate your time to Murwa?
I think for me, as I said in my intro, I am all about human development. I am all about making sure that individuals rise to their full potential. And so when you look at Murwa and the solution that they're trying to bring from a pastor's perspective, the Bible says that God said that He will create male and female in His own image. And it continues to say that He blessed them, and He said that they will be fruitful, they will multiply, they will fill the earth, and they will have dominion. And so for me, when I look at that particular scripture, I come to the conclusion and the realization, and it's plain to see that the mandate that God gave for dominion, it is not male-centric alone. It involves even the ladies, it involves the females, because I look at it and I'm thinking, okay, why would I have a problem with somebody's daughter doing well, but I would be proud if my sister is doing well, if my mom is doing well, if my wife is doing well, so I come into that space where I'm like, okay, why don't we give those girls an opportunity also to express the potential, the giftings, the talents, and even the dreams that they have? So that's why for me, I have that dedication to Murwa, because I want to see we may think that all solutions are with the men out there, but you never know, maybe the next president who will really take Kenya into the next sphere of development, maybe is a lady somewhere in Masai land. So we have to be open to that realization that the solution can come from anywhere. So if it can come from anywhere, then that means we have got to be very intentional in giving everyone an equal chance at life, including the girls in the pastoralist areas. Yeah.
Could you share with us maybe a moment, an experience that actually solidified this commitment to Murwa? Something you saw apart from, of course, our founder being a mentee.
Yeah.
Like what actually?
I think the experiences and encounters that have solidified this commitment is the many interventions and intervention stories that we've been involved in. We've been involved in rescuing young girls from early marriage, which for me I think is a big plus, because you're giving somebody an opportunity to be what they can be, what they could be, and what they were created to be, rather than just being a housewife sitting in the house. And then secondly, also the many young girls that you've taken to school, and just hearing, okay, we've taken this girl to school and she's performing well. I think for me that's a plus, that even if we are yet to see the full outcome and the full potential, just having taken most of these girls out of those vulnerable and sensitive situations. I think for me that is something that has solidified my commitment to Murwa, and I would not mind doing it again for another girl and another girl and another girl until we make sure that our impact has cut across all ages, geographically and historically. Yeah.
Who do you say are your role models? I mean, you are writers, but there must be someone who also inspires you to write. Yeah.
Role model. Of course, I have some, but for me, I'm what you'd call an eclectic individual.
Okay.
An eclectic individual is somebody who is open to. So, I have not confined myself. I am still in that place of I want to learn this, I want to learn that. So even when it comes to reading books, if you come to my library, you would be shocked that this library does not look like a pastor's library because of the diverse books that I have, books on politics, books on business, scientific books. So for me, I wouldn't say that I am at that point where I can say that yes, that is my role model. But of course, there are a few people like C.S. Lewis is one person whose writing has really influenced me and just views about life. And then there are other individual books that you may find. Like I remember there's one book I bought in the streets, and it was just, I don't know if that guy has other books, and it's a book that really changed the way I look at life. And so, I wouldn't say that now that is my role model. I just found that the book ministered to me at that particular time, and it impacted me positively. So maybe as you celebrate 20 years of Murwa, and now you'll come and ask me who are your role models. Maybe by then I'll have been able to narrow down. But for me, I can say I love people who are doing things. I love people who have achieved things with their lives. So that's what I'm saying. For now, it's too early to say that is my role model. That is my role model. Anyone who has built something, anyone who has done something significant and great for themselves and for the community at large, that's somebody I love to read their story and see what I can do from them. Yeah.
What would you say are some of the challenges that you have overcome as a leader? And of course, having in a board where there is a team to support, there's a team to encourage and challenge to grow. So what would you say some of those challenges?
Challenges will always be there. I think for me the first challenge was just starting and now trying to put things into place, and I can say we are not there yet, but we are not where we started, considering that Murwa Girls started as a CBO. So of course the challenges of moving from a CBO into an NGO. So the challenges have been, and of course with the area that we are tackling, of course there's a lot of resistance, especially cultural and traditional. But we've soldiered on. The few or the many stories that we have what keep us going or keep me going. And of course there's also the issue of finances, because now running these programs needs finances, and so just trying to put ourselves out there as people who can be entrusted with resources to run programs that are beneficial to people. I think that was a challenge, and even now I would say God has been faithful. He has entrusted us with resources, but the vision that we have needs a lot more resources. So we are still trying to throw ourselves out there. So I think that's a challenge, but we are growing into it. It's not something that is keeping us off. And even the resistance that is on the ground, we are finding ways to be able to go around the resistance. Of course, there are areas where we find the resistance is a bit intense, so we pull back a bit. But there are areas where we go and be able to navigate through the resistance, and that's where we have the success stories. So those are the challenges, and of course, there are other like logistical challenges. And maybe I am hoping that anyone who sees this interview, if you are touched or if you know where we can be able to get things like cars, because I know some of these programs need a lot of mobility, and I know that's also an area where we are trying to work on as a board, where we can be able to get cars so that the people on the ground can be able to have a wider scope of impact and influence in the ground. Yeah, so the challenges are still there. We are surmounting them one challenge at a time. But yeah, at 10 years, I can say that God has been faithful. Yeah.
What do you say makes you inspired or stay inspired whenever there's a setback or challenge?
I think for me is that fact that there are people who've overcome challenges. So that in itself is motivation enough, is testament enough, because I normally try to make their wins as simple, and I try to buy into their win. So I normally ask myself, this person, if I may use Kiswahili, si ana macho mbili kama mimi, ana masikio mbili kama mimi, ana miguu mbili kama mimi, roho ni moja, unless ana roho mbili ama tatu. So if you look at what you'd call the physiological and the biological setup, we're all the same. So it's an issue of attitude. So I look at myself and I say, what attitude did that person have to be able to overcome that challenge? And so I tell myself, if a challenge has been overcome before, then this would be the first one that until now we're saying, no, it has never been done. So for me, looking at how people have overcome challenges out there is motivation and encouragement enough that, you know what, you also have what it takes. You just need to have whatever attitude and whatever mindset that they had to overcome that challenge. Yeah.
Right. What advice would you give someone who hopes to serve in a board?
What advice would I give someone? But I think the first thing I would advise, and which I think for me has been the success story of Muro, is the fact that we did not only become a team, we became friends. Because I remember the first days. Of course, for the gentlemen, it was just myself and Tom, the chairman. So it's easy. But now for the ladies, I was wondering, okay, so who's. So at least I knew the names, but I didn't know. So in Yanani, Ijina Yanani, there was an Ivy, there was a Lydia, there was a Marianne. So every time we would meet, I'm like, so I had to wait until they are called out. Oh! But over the years, the bond that has been created, and when you meet us and when you come around us, you'd think we have a long history, but we were just people who are brought together by the vision of Murwa, and I am glad that we have become that. So for me, the first, and I normally tell people, whenever you find yourself in a team setup, be a team player. That is the number one advice, because there's no need of being in a team and you're trying to be an individual. It beats the purpose of being in a team. So that's the number one thing I'll tell people, that if you're in a team, be a team player. And that, I think, is something that has helped us as Murwa. Secondly, I think it's just that aspect of just play your role, do whatever you have to do, and at some point, if you're called upon to to step in, because like for us, it's normally it's the vision, the success of it. So I will, if maybe chairman will request me, hey, why don't you do this on my behalf? I may not come in. I'll not be like, that's not my responsibility. That's your. Of course, there are responsibilities and jurisdictions that everyone plays, but when you're called upon to step out of your jurisdiction to assist, that's not the time to say, that's not my responsibility. Everyone to do, because it's the vision. So it is better we move or we get this job done than now trying, we fail, and then now we come and try and blame each other. It was your responsibility. And then of course I will say, for such, be ready, because of course now with the setup of Murwa, us being in Nairobi and the programs being in those regions, Narok, Samburu, and the larger pastoralist area, at some point we are called upon to be on the ground, so that at least we can also participate directly as the board members. So if you find yourself in such a setup like Murwa, at some point you'll just have to be ready to get out of your comfort zone and be like, hey, maybe next week we need to go see a certain program. How many are available? And you just avail yourself. It's not that kind of a situation where you're a board member for the sake of being a board member, where you're in Nairobi and you're posting. And for me, I enjoy going to the ground, because it gives me a perspective of what we are doing. So even when we sit down to strategize and to deliberate and to make decisions, you are not so detached from the ideas that you give. So that's what I'm saying. If you find yourself in a setup like Murwa, if you're called upon to just be available, be there for the programs, just go with the flow, because that's the whole essence of why you are in the board in the first place. So depending on the board, whatever demands that come with the vision that board is having, then my advice would be easy. Don't be a logistical nightmare that at some point we are trying to deal with those who are there down there, and how to break the ice and the communication. And then again we have to deal with Christine, because now we have to convince Christine, tunaenda matuendi, mimi unajua me, that's not my thing. If that is not your thing, then you're not supposed to be the board. So be easy, kwa Kiswahili tunasema kuwa mwepesi, usikuwe sasa pia wewe tukikaa tunajiuliza. You must be that kind of a person where whenever there's something, people are like, hey, Christine anakam, wow, nice, rather than huyu atawachana na it beats the purpose of you being in a board. Yeah, so that's what I would say. And of course, bring the positive energy, bring the fun aspect, and make it work. That's what I would say. Yeah.
What would you say are some of your hopes for the future of Murwa?
Hopes for the future of Murwa, definitely I foresee us growing big. Of course, with the ideas that we have and the strategies that we want to put into place, God helping us with the availability of resources, in which I believe God shall make available the resources. I just foresee growth in terms of the reach, growth in terms of the many people and the many lives we'll be able to transform. And of course, now that general area, that pastoralist area, that at some point they will appreciate the girl child, and they will be open to the idea that it is a blessing to have girls who are educated. It is a blessing to have girls who are empowered. Yeah, so the long run and the long term vision is just seeing transformation, mindset, and also culturally. That at some point, a young girl from that people will stop seeing them as, you can't see a class 2 girl as wife material. See them as something better. See them as a doctor. See them as a potential lawyer, as a pilot. So for me, that's what I foresee. And I believe with Murwa, and in collaboration, because we are not the only one, Murwa and in collaboration with other NGOs, institutions, and organizations, I believe we will leave a mark in this country and in those particular areas. So we shall be celebrating 20 years. So I hope we shall be here, well, not here, but we shall be wherever we will be. And then Christine Lameso shall be interviewing Reverend Hector 20 years to come.
Oh, absolutely. I'd still love to do that. Okay, maybe a little bit, share with us a fun moment or a memory that is still keep remembering it. It's fun or you learned something. Could be in your childhood and adulthood.
Okay. That's a very interesting, and because I'm trying to, because now at some point you asked about any funny memory. Okay, I'm trying to remember, and also there's also the inspiring memory, or something. So I'm trying to go through my browser history to try and see what I mean. There's a lot. I'm trying to narrow down. But I think for me, okay, there's one I have remembered.
Yeah.
But that's not for camera. Nah. that one is not for camera. It can be used against you in the court of law. But I think it's I think for that particular event, maybe I'll tell you off the camera.
All
but
right.
I think for me is being a go-getter.
Okay.
Being a go-getter. And I think it's something that I have had to learn. It is something that I have had to develop, and it's a discipline I've had to work on, because you find that a lot of people are gifted, and let me just be honest, everyone is gifted in one way or another. Even the poorest of the poorest human beings, if they really sit down with themselves and they have some moment of introspection, you'll realize that they have abilities and gifting. But now it's the go-getter mindset that people need to work on. And so, because like even for me, I meet people who are inspired by my books, and they are, and at some point they're like, wow, there's that wow factor. But you look at others and you're like, hey, but like I remember, let me give this. I met a lady once, and this lady was always she was inspired by the fact that I write books. So at some point she was like, by the way, so what do you do to write books? So I sat down with her and I told her, okay, so if you want to write a book, these are some of the things that you need to do. These are some of the things you need to let go of. And me, I was, because she asked, and so I was generous enough with my experience. I was generous enough with information. Not only did I know that she took every word I told her. The next thing I see is a chat on WhatsApp, and I see a book. And the next thing is that, thank you so much. the talk you gave me a few years back have given birth to this particular book. So that go-getting aspect, if we're able to work on it, I am sure. And the reason why Murwa has been able to get to 10 years is because of the go-getter attitude that the founder Agnes has, and also the board, that as a team we are go-getters, and even individually in our capacity we come with that go-getting attribute. So I think for me, for anyone out there, my encouragement, based on this particular funny story that I have decided not to share on camera, is that we need to be go-getters, because God will give you the idea, but now it is for you to go after it, and until you see the fruition and the fulfillment of that particular dream. So I think so the funny bits I have kept it for you,
Okay.
but for the people in the camera, they take the inspirational bits. And Tekla, thank you so much for the refreshments. I will drink. So I think that's what I would say in terms of what I would tell somebody that wants to write or who wants to pursue a particular field of interest. Yeah, just be a go-getter. Just not some point I have to get it. Until I get it, I am not resting, and that has always been my drive. Until I see this book published, I am not resting. I am not settling until like right now the book I'm working on. You should see how I am restless, because at some point I'm like, I have to finish this book, and so forth and so forth and so forth. Yeah.
Okay. As we reflect on 10 years, what did you say is your call to action?
Well, my call to action will just be more determined, be aggressive, and give it your all. Because I know we have given as much as we can, and we've gotten this far. But I believe as we continue giving our all, and I say that corporately, not just for me, for the board, for the staff, and for what's the third tie? I keep forgetting. There's the board, there's the staff. Champions. Yeah, I was actually looking for that one. So it's for all of us to to give it our all, and to just not rest until another life has been transformed and another life has been transformed. And I believe from there it will get easier, because now there will be a ripple effect, because now it will not be us who will be pushing this narrative and this transformation agenda, but now it will be the beneficiaries of the transformation that now shall come on board and also be able to reach out to their relatives, their friends, their neighbors. So I think the call to action is we keep at it and not tire, and make sure that more come into this particular basket of transformation. And I believe we will have justified our existence on the face of the earth. It will not just be we came to eat, to sleep, and to finish oxygen. If it can be finished.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure hosting you.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to more engagement on this podcast, to share and to learn, get inspired by you and by your books.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope my experience has added to something and has added to the voice of inspiration that we are trying to push out there. And yes, I look forward to having more of such. And I think maybe it's a challenge to us that now we don't wait for another 10 years to have such podcast and informative and interactive sessions. It's now upon us. Just see how we can be able to make it regular, so that now our transformation agenda can get more traction, so that we can be able to do more. So thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to more years of Murwa and the impact it has. And yes, we see what God has in store for us. Yeah, so for anyone who's watching us out there, as you've heard, if you feel you want to participate, to partner, to just bring transformation in the lives of these young girls, especially in the area of education, we welcome you. Or if you know anyone who would love to come on board, either as a partner, as a sponsor for programs, or for something as you've had, we say we need cars to help people move around, you're welcome. Don't hesitate, and I believe that together we can be able to do more. So God bless you, and God bless us all.
That was our time. Thank you. Until next time, like, share, and subscribe.